Joining me right now is Kansas Congressman, member of the House Oversight and Appropriations Committee, Jake LaTurner. Congressman, good to see you. Do you agree with that? You heard
Glad to be
the
with
president.
You. That's a far cry from Harry Truman saying the buck stops here, isn't it?
Yeah.
I looked at the 13 pages document that the Biden administration put together, and it was a lot of nonsense. The Biden administration owns what happened in Afghanistan. It was absolutely a national security disaster. 13 brave service members died. We left billions of dollars of equipment behind in Taliban hands. We left American citizens and our allies behind. This was a debacle, and the Biden administration needs to level with the American people and admit to it. That's what House Republicans on the Oversight Committee are going to be focusing on today.
Yeah, and once again, they're blaming Trump, which is just incredible. Lee Zeldin is with me this morning. And, you know, Lee, one other element that you can point to as a result of the Afghanistan withdrawal is the fact that our adversaries are on the march. Look at China and all of these surveillance efforts. Look at Putin in Russia. This all happened after Afghanistan.
Yeah, they were all watching.
Yeah.
You have Vladimir Putin looking at Ukraine. You have China looking at Taiwan, North Korea test firing missiles, Iran looking to ramp up uranium enrichment.
That's right, Iran as well. Yeah.
Adversaries were watching this test of the Biden administration in year one. And I think that there is an exposure of a weaker underbelly that they see an opportunity, and they've pounced. Yeah, you know, as far as Congressman LaTurner, it's great to see you. You know, I just want to know, when you see President Biden reflecting, and you make the Harry Truman reference, for a president of the United States to be in that position, there's nothing wrong with taking some pride, maybe, if you feel like the withdrawal of citizens eventually was good. And that's, by the way, up for debate. But you'd think it would be presidential to say, hey, here are the lessons learned. If you had that opportunity, President Biden was right here in front of you, what are some of the lessons that you learned of what the Biden administration did wrong that they need to get right next time?
Well, what they did wrong was they allowed the Department of State to run this operation rather than the Department of Defense. These decisions should have been made by the Department of Defense to ensure that our American citizens got out safely, that our service members got out safely. There was no need for 13 service members to die. That is the result of poor planning, poor execution, cutting deals with the Taliban. It makes absolutely no sense, and it's incredibly disappointing that the administration all they're doing is pointing the finger.
Yeah.
The American people deserve better than that.
Well, one of the worst parts of this is all of that weaponry that we left behind. As you said, billions and billions of weapons. And then how about Bagram Air Force Base? I'm wondering if the CCP is just going to move into Bagram Air Force Base at some point. President Biden, though, is ignoring all questions about it. He ignored some questions yesterday about the Oversight Committee finding that 9 of his family members have actually received money from foreign business dealings. We talk about the influence peddling all the time. Watch what happened yesterday.
President Biden, is it true that 9 members of your family got billions from places like China? President Biden, did 9 members of your family get billions?
Any reaction to President Lula?
Congressman, what about this? Are we ever going to see accountability for what we see on this laptop and these bank records of the Biden family accepting millions of dollars from communist China?
Maria, what you're going to continue to see are the House Oversight Republicans exposing President Biden and his family for their influence peddling while he was vice president. Yeah. It was 3 family members. Now we know it's 9. The committee has reviewed Treasury records. We know this to be true. And the president will not be able to avoid questions about this forever, because House Republicans are going to continue to ramp up the pressure, not out of malice, but because the American people deserve answers on this. How did he use his position as vice president to enrich his family? That's a fair question, and a question we will get to the bottom of.
And what were they paying for? What was that $3 million wire for? What is all of this millions of dollars money from China? And what exactly are they buying? The other issue, Congressman, is the Appropriations Committee. You're on the Appropriations Committee, and we continue to hear that Republicans have the power of the purse. What are you going to do with that?
Well, listen, we've got a big debt ceiling debate that we are dealing with right now. And within that, we talk about one of the things that House Republicans want to see in there is limiting spending increases over the next decade to 1% a year. That's a very positive thing for the American people. It's not enough to solve everything, but it's a one provision that the Appropriations Committee can be involved in. The other thing that it's really important for the Appropriations Committee to do is we've broken it down into 12 separate bills. It's a more transparent process than it's been in a very long time because with $32 trillion in debt, the American people rightly expect us to scrutinize every single thing that we spend money on, and that's exactly what we're going to do.
So are you going to hold money back for example, the FBI, the DOJ, the other federal agencies that have been colluding with social media to suppress truth and amplify lies?
House Republicans are going to look at every single place within the federal budget to find places to save. That's what the American people sent us here to do.
Yeah. Congressman, it's good to see you. Thanks so much.
Good to see you.
Jake LaTurner joining us in D.C. this morning.